Buckle up, folks. This podcast is all about diving into the good, the bad, and the ugly of our bodily, spiritual, and mental experiences. If you are not prepared to challenge your assumptions, laugh at yourself, laugh at me, or maybe even shed a tear or two, then you might want to look elsewhere. But if you're ready to get real, get honest, and get a little weird, then welcome to the Just Chrissy podcast. I'm your host, Chrissy McCammon. Hello, friends. It is Chrissy, the host here at Just Chrissy and the owner of Rooted in Wellness. So today we're going to talk about our main subject is going to be allergies versus food sensitivities. What is that? How do we identify them? So stick around to the end so that you fully understand what happens. So if you have an allergy to, say, walnuts, and you eat that walnut, you have an immediate reaction, and you have to get an EpiPen out and, to stop that reaction. A sensitivity is much different. It doesn't show up until a couple days after you've had the offending food. So a lot of times people don't recognize that they are sensitive to a certain food because you're not thinking, well, what did I have 3 days ago or 2 days ago, right? So let me tell you the process of how we figure out. You can do testing, which is totally fine. We can do a food sensitivity test. But what I like to do is I like to take people through the 21-day functional medicine detox. And so that's 3 weeks of really cleaning up your body, eliminating the top 3 allergens, which are eggs, dairy, and wheat. Then when you get to the end of the 21 days where you've had this very clean diet, you've done all this work on cleaning up your system, you've not thrown things in there that agitate it, then we are going to say, okay, on Monday, let's add milk. Then you would skip Tuesday, and then Wednesday you would have milk again. Well, then you would watch Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Are you having headaches? Are you having joint pain? Are your eyes blurry? Do you feel nauseated? Are you not going to the bathroom? Do you feel like you're not thinking well? You're not thinking clearly? Like you would be looking for all of these symptoms to show up with a food sensitivity. Well, maybe milk is fine for you. Maybe that didn't bother you at all. So then the next week what we would do is say, okay, this week let's add wheat. Let's add the gluten back in. And so Monday we would have some bread, and then Wednesday we would have some more bread, and then we would watch Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and see what shows up, if anything, in our body symptom-wise to indicate that we had a sensitivity. And then the following week we would do the same thing. This is a thing though, like turkey. A lot of people have a sensitivity to turkey, but they don't know it because they're only eating it twice a year. It's these foods that you're eating consistently in your diet. One of the signs for me, if I have too much bread, is I get these bumps all over my arm. And I can hear some of you right now being like, oh yeah, I get those too. So if you don't want to do the food sensitivity testing, which we could do to make it really easy, you know exactly what you are sensitive to, you could do this method, which, listen, 21 days of cleaning up is still good for you. If you're going to eat eggs, I recommend that you get them from a local farmer who is not feeding them corn, because corn has glyphosate in it. And if the chicken's eating the corn, you're eating the eggs, you're going to get the glyphosate from that chicken. The same way with your chickens that you're eating. Also, so like for our chickens, we go buy them organic food. Our food actually even has essential oils in it. But, and they're not all stuffed in a cage, wing to wing inside a dark cage. They have the ability to get out, to get in the sun. They have room to move. When it's not gardening season, we will let them out a half hour before dark so they can get out and just look for worms and things like that. But, they are dirty. They are dirty in the sense that if you let them out free ranging, which is ideal. So if you have a neighbor that's doing that, buy their eggs. but they do like to scratch and dig up the mulch and that sort of thing. So we feed ours organic. So find a local farmer, try to find someone who's feeding them organically. The birds have room to get out and move and get sun and all the things. And the egg is literally like a vitamin in a capsule. However, many people are allergic to the egg, or sensitive, to the egg. So, and it's usually the protein in the whites. So just be aware that could be an issue. If you're getting milk, try to find it from a local farm. Get raw milk. I like the A2 cows. We have a great little farm down the road here that does yogurt, and A2 cows, they always have milk there. It's very reasonably priced. But what you're buying in the store has been heated. Things have been taken out of it. It's just not as good. And then when we talk about wheat or gluten, this was a big eye opener for me, because I know someone who's extremely allergic to gluten, and like you couldn't even use a spatula that had flour on it to flip something that she was eating. Like that's how, like she couldn't even be in the same place with it. But interestingly, she went to Italy, and while she was in Italy, she was able to eat pizza, and she was able to eat the bread, and she had to eat within reason. But so what is happening? Like, what is happening? Well, in the United States, first of all, they have GMO'd the crops. So that, like for instance, wheat should actually get really tall, like tall as us. But if you go out west, you'll see these wheat fields, and the wheat will be really low, and it'll be mature, and it's like not even like above your waist. So they GMO'd it so it grows faster, and they can harvest it sooner, and they can replant and grow more crop. Monsanto, who's owned by Bayer, does a lot of this. They also have crops that are like bug resistant, like corn that's resistant, and so there's a book out. I have to look at the name of it. I'll put it in the description then. But by the scientist, and showing how the glyphosate in the corn is just jamming up our digestive system. So anything corn, you need to be careful. Now, we have found frozen organic corn at Aldi's. So if we're going to eat corn, we try to do that. And then in the summertime, we just limit the amount of corn that we have. We don't eat it every week. And like even corn starch, like anything with corn, you want to be careful, make sure it's organic. And like even when they plant organic corn, like it's almost impossible, because for 5 miles around that organic corn, you can't have any GMO corn, because it will pollinate with the organic corn. So it's just something that you really, really want to watch out for. I'm trying to think if there's any other tips that I can give you that will help you. So be careful. Another thing that I heard too about these sensitivities is that we don't chew our food well enough. And when we don't chew our food, and so it's going down into the digestive system, these chunks, into the intestine in chunks. Anyway, there's little villas in the intestinal wall that are kind of like glued together. And so when you have over-the-counters, as in medicine, pharmaceuticals, alcohol, you don't chew your food well, you eat a lot of ultra-refined food, and it goes down in there, and say you have these big chunks that, like, so those walls are slowly getting, the villa is getting looser and looser, and just picture my fingers. Just picture my fingers and how there's like the creases between the fingers. Well, like if your fingers are tight together, the villa should have those walls sealed up and tight. That's why they say heal and seal when you're healing your gut, because what happens is the fingers start to separate, and then the food can get down in there. Well, if you have big chunks of food that are going down into the bloodstream through the intestine, the body is going to recognize that as an enemy, and it will start to attack it. So if you eat, say, strawberries a lot, you may get a strawberry sensitivity where you can't eat strawberries because it makes you sick. So, most of America is just really in sad, and I don't mean that not just the sad American diet, just because of the sad American diet, we are sad, and we need to heal and still our gut to help get rid of these things. So all that to say that that there are some people that once they clean up over a period of time and they heal and seal their gut, like within 6 weeks, they can have some of the foods that they couldn't have before, which I find very fascinating. So this might be an option for you if you're feeling like your gut could use some work. Maybe you want to look at healing and sealing it, which I'm happy to help you with. So anyway, the difference between the allergies and the sensitivities: allergies show up right away. Sensitivities take time. Like it would be 2 or 3 days after you eat it, and you have to have it more than once a week. So like you'd have to have it Monday and then have it again on Wednesday. And then you would watch for the next couple of days to see if you have any of the symptoms. And if you do, then you know you have a sensitivity. But those are the top 3, like the eggs, the dairy, and the gluten, or like in the wheat, are the top 3. But you can have sensitivities to other food too. Those are just the main ones that people have issues with. So to conclude, what we found out was, like, if you got USDA organic flour, say King Arthur's, or Walmart has one there too, that people have found that, and it used to be, it's pretty common now, you can find it, but Stan and I used to order our flour from Italy because their flour is not GMO'd like our flour is. And so now you can find it pretty almost everywhere. You can find a USDA organic. It has to say USDA organic. If something just says organic and there's more than one ingredient in it, then it can be one ingredient in that product is organic. It doesn't mean that everything in it's organic. So when you buy something that says USDA organic, that means everything in that product is organic. So that's a good little tip to know. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a great day.